My name is Karamjit of Nadi Digital Economy Malaysia. With me is my colleague Dzof Azmi, and we're going to just jump right into it and talk about some interesting stories that happened that show that Malaysia's digital economy is either progressing or regressing or stagnant. And we're going to jump into a story of a product launched by a man who you cannot accuse of being stagnant, right, or regressing. And that is, Tan Sri Tony Fernandes, and his capital A, which of course used to be called, Asia before. They've got a wallet called BigPay, and I think in November 2020, they actually got a provisional license from the Ministry of Local Housing Government for lending, and he's now ready to launch that into the market and create mayhem. And I say mayhem in a positive way because my son was just telling me that yesterday, but he told me today, a Grab driver was telling him that since Asia got into the ride-hailing market, Grab has not been able to charge as much as they normally do for their rates, and as a result, the Grab drivers are also making less money. So he wasn't too happy, but that's what disruption is, right, in this space. So Dzof, I'll let you take the lead with this story first, and your thoughts here.
Yeah, well, it's about what used to be AirAsia, now called Capital A, of course, and it's an announcement by Tony Fernandes, the big T, as it were, that they're coming out with what they call.
Actually, not the big T. I saw his TikTok video, right? He was in Thailand. He made a TikTok video, and yes, Tony is on TikTok, okay, but with the AirAsia channel. And he was talking about how great their food delivery services is, the best thing since chapati. And it's not the big T, but I would say it's the ample T.
Okay, I shouldn't laugh. That's really, no, I shouldn't laugh. But the other thing that he's offering.
Sorry, Dzof, you're going to see all your loyalty points on BigPay are just disappeared, okay? You heard it here first.
I think I'd say it's Karamjit who said it, not me. But what he announced was what he calls the first fully digital personal loan product in Malaysia, right? So they're offering this new feature that allows you to request a loan, and he claims that approvals will be given as fast as 5 minutes, which is quite incredible.
Yeah.
If you think about it, because this hurdle of getting approval for loans is one of the things that interrupts like individuals or small businesses that want to get these loans. It's one of the problems that's facing them. Now he's offering this loan. He can offer this loan. BigPay can offer this loan because they received a provisional license from the Ministry of Housing and Local Government. Yeah. This is in fact the ministry that handles the giving out of loans. So it's completely correct. And I think it's interesting because the article also mentioned, also mentioned companies like Axiata Digital, GrabFin, Hoop FinTech. They've all got these provisional licenses. So in theory, they could all also offer something similar, except what they don't have is the data, I suppose, that BigPay will claim they have. And we always say data is the new oil, right? And I think part of the magic sauce that allows them to approve loans so quickly is that they can sort of delve into the data and say, hey, this guy looks like he's a good candidate he can probably repay his loans relatively easily. Yeah. And what's always strikes me a bit odd this is BigPay is offering this. On the other hand, they've also put in a bid to be a digital bank as well, right? Yeah. So sort of like attacking on all fronts, right?
The Hokkiens will say that Tony wants to chiak kaliao. Chiak kaliao means he wants to eat everything.
Well,
I think it's already.
There's no. I was going to say there's no loss to them if they get the digital bank license and they do this. There's no issue, I think. So
no.
It's just like it seems to be a very heated space right now, and everyone's having to go for it.
So sorry, but
yeah, I was going to.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to ask whether you thought whether BigPay is going to be able to sort of distinguish themselves, right, from all the other competitors that are going to come into this space.
I think they can, because Tony is crazy enough, right? Like, look, if they really are able to do in 5 minutes, right, that's insane. I think even if you can do it within the 24 hours is already good enough. If you can go down so crazy as to 5 days, but also because, again, they've got the personal data, correct? At the individual basis, whereas the likes of Aspirasi or whatever, no one has an individual's data the way Tony does. And Tony has the data because he can see how often you've been flying, right? And most probably if you're going to use BigPay, it's because you're already a semi-regular customer, right, of the airline. And so it's quite intriguing. True. And it's definitely going to disrupt this space. And I actually look forward to seeing what he can do, because if the recent anecdote I got from my son is any indication, it's going to be interesting. I'm not sure whether they can win, but it's going to be interesting. And I think individuals will benefit, right, from being able to borrow money quickly from at this moment, probably BigPay and whoever else.
I mean, we've been talking about this stuff for a few weeks in a row, right? That right now, with the economy starting up again, with growth projected for this year, you're going to see people needing capital to do all sorts of things. So it's probably the right time to strike into this.
So, okay, let's move on to the next story now, which is this is a startup story. So I think we have spoken about this before, where a company called FWD Insurance, and I think they are based out of Hong Kong, right, Dzof? They have entered the Southeast Asian market. You can check and let me know. And they've actually partnered with 1337 right, Ventures, Bikesh, and they've launched this accelerator, which is called the Forward Startup Studio Alpha Startups Pre-Accelerator Program. And you get a name like this when both parties, could not agree to compromise on a neutral name. So they said, let's just throw our name in there, right? So it's a real painful headline to see that, right? So anyway, I had to use the headline because otherwise, if I just put in the Forward FWD Startup Studio, right, I think Bikesh should have come and beat me up. So we had to use this, but this was look, they invited, I think, about a dozen startups, right, into the first cohort. And these two, which is called BlueDuck, which is a name you can't forget, and Kapitani, which is actually capital untuk petani. Very interesting, which is, BlueDuck is a fintech, and also BlueDuck, which is run by Ernest Wong. Last month at Bank Negara's, fintech conference, there was an accelerator on the side, and they were actually adjudged to be a pitching competition, and they were adjudged to be one of the top 3 winners. So definitely Ernest Wong and his BlueDuck they found their wings, right? Or they found the right pond in which to glide in. So I think I've got my analogy horribly wrong, but never mind. So he seems to be going places, right? And they've actually each received 150,000 ringgit, which is about $35,000 each, right? And actually, what was interesting was that he said going through the accelerator was fantastic because there was on a weekly basis, right? You have sessions with your mentors, and according to Ernest, it was rewarding to see how well and consistent our execution was, and to get the kind of nurturing, right, and cultivation and the sharing of ideas and visions from their mentors was great. And the Kapitani guys also, were saying that, hey, this is a fantastic program, and we really gain from the experience and the knowledge and the network of the mentors who are with her. We're just ready to run, right? And beat Usain Bolt, right? If there was a 100-meter race right after the accelerator. So all good. Sorry, it was actually 12-week program, not 10 weeks. Yeah. So it's all 12 good. Weeks, yes. Yeah, and also, by the way, Amita Verma, who's like the head of the Forward Technology and Innovation Malaysia, said that having these kind of pre-accelerator programs, right, it gives them a unique opportunity to observe and work with startup co-founders and get to know them and understand their style. And that's great because at some point then maybe, Forward will want to invest in them in a serious way, right? And of course, sometimes mentors also become your investors. So it's great to see more of these accelerator programs come about in Malaysia. The more, the better, especially when they are run with people who really care about the ecosystem, like Bikesh, right? And you partner with the right people, it's fantastic. So good time for entrepreneurs out there. The government wants to try to hit 5,000 startups, right, by end of 2024, 25. These kind of things, help them a lot. So let's now move on to something else that is exciting that I'm that we at DNA are personally very excited about. And this is, we have already, we wrote an article to say, who will make it as an inaugural Harimau X startup on the Harimau X startup list. So I think on the 2nd of January, DNA actually announced that we are together partnering with Hyattly, which was formerly called WOBB. And together with 6 of the leading accelerators in the country, we have launched a recognition. I won't call it an award, a recognition for startups which have done the best job in creating a strong culture in the organizations. And culture trumps strategy. Warren Buffett didn't say that, and Peter Drucker also didn't say that. People confused. They actually think Peter Drucker said that. The late great, leadership guru Peter Drucker. But anyway, they didn't. Neither of them said that. But culture trump strategy is a very strong maxim in the business world. And we were saying that, hey, we need to highlight and reward, right, startups which have already done a great job in building a strong culture, because a strong culture binds everyone together in one direction with one single purpose, right, to deliver, create value for your customers. And then as the ripple effect is that the organization, the company enjoys added value, added valuation also. So we said, and there's no, and you can check, I think in Southeast Asia, forget about just in Malaysia, there is no startup recognition for these companies which have created or built a good culture. So here we have Harimau X startup. And I think yesterday we just, on 2 days ago, on the 22nd, no, that's 3 days ago, on the 22nd of February, with all the string of twos, we announced that when the nominations closed, we hit 32 companies submitted. We were super excited. We didn't know how many would be interested, and now we have filtered down to the finalists for each of the 3 categories. And the categories are: you have to be a startup with 5 to 20 headcount, 21 to 50, and then 51 and above. And we have already appointed a humbling, amazing group of judges, 3 judges for each category. And we're going to do the judging next week on Friday. And then on April 1st, we're going to have the actual event where we're going to announce who was the winner for each category. And, Suresh Tiru, the former COO of JobStreet and then Asia CEO for Seek, he has agreed to give each of the 3 winning category winners, right, for each category, 1 year of mentorship, which means once a quarter, right? He'll come in, sit down with them for an hour or 2 hours to help them out. Fantastic. And there'll be and we've also, we've got 2 design schools which have gotten their students involved to come up with a 3D illustration of a Harimau. Because obviously with a name like this, right, each category will have a Harimau, a visual of a Harimau for the winning team, and for the teams, for the companies that the judges deem to be worthy to be called a Harimau X also. So they'll get a frame of an amazing 3D, and the students whose designs we pick, right, will get their names in the frame, right? Created, designed by so and so. And we're also going to create an NFT and drop it also. We may not drop it, like it's not going to be for public, but the NFT will be for each of the category winners and those who receive a judge's merit. So it's all super exciting and all. And I'm particularly excited about the fact that we've gotten students involved, right? Because somebody offered to use a designer involved from their company. But this design, they said the designer is very talented, but the designer is based in Mexico because we live in a flat world, right? And I said, no, DNA wants and Hyattly would like to give credit to the design, creator of each of the 3 Harimaus to be a student from one of the design schools in Malaysia. So we're looking forward to, together with Stephanie Sid, who's the co-founder of Imagine Group, which runs 123RF. They're going to help us pick, which were the best designs. So super pumped and super excited about that. And the startups who have been the finalists, they already know who they are. We've already informed them, but it's all exciting. And this is just our plan. And when I say ours, I mean DNA, Hyattly, and the 6 accelerators who are with us, right? To elevate the importance of culture when you build a company, because a lot of startup founders tend to only want to focus on culture when they hit their Series A funding, right? That 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, $5 million US. Then we got to start to operationalize and put in systems, right, into the company. We say you got to do it earlier. So all exciting, and we'll see what happens here.
Yeah, I mean, Karam, it sounds like these kind of things are both inspirational and aspirational, right? I mean, aspirational in the sense that if you succeed, you'll get something for it, but then inspirational because you're looking at your peers or you're looking at your mentors, and I mean, what have you gotten any feedback from the competitors, as it were, about what they feel about this?
No, because we only have told the winners, and then those who didn't get in also have been informed already now. Yeah, because we are recording this on a Friday, but you go out on a we are gonna push this out tomorrow night. Saturday night. But the winners know, and those who didn't get it also know already. And just that the feedback has been that this is a great, a list that we are creating, right? And I don't want to call it a award, because people will be building their culture whether there's an award or not. No, because it's important. We are just trying to emphasize and put a spotlight on the importance of it right away. From day one or from year one. And they say it's great. And even those who didn't get in, right, said that, look, we're going to further, this is motivation for us, like you said, right, to just further work on our culture, and then hopefully we can aspire to be a Harimau X. Because if you are anointed as a Harimau X, and once the market knows, right, oh, that means that these are great places to work at, guess who's going to get all the resumes coming in, who's going to be knocking on the doors, right? Just, hey, I'd like to join your company, right? It's going to be a very powerful branding and recruitment tool in the market in Malaysia. I think 3 years from now, this is year one. So it's really exciting for all of us who are involved with this.
Okay. Right.
So let's
Shall we move on?
Just speed through the last few, which you're going to have fun with, Dzof, because I've said enough about 5G. I've got some more things to say, but let me write a commentary that I need to get off my chest. Then we can talk about what I think further of 5G. But the word Trojan horse will be in my article, so look out for that.
Oh, okay. All right. So it's just three. I mean, we've been getting a lot of 5G stories every week for the last few weeks. So I guess the three that I'm going to talk about this week very quickly is, one is that the Minister for Communications and Multimedia, Tan Sri Anwar Musa, said that there will be a cabinet meeting in March, and some kind of decision will hopefully be made then. But he made the comment that it's important that 5G is rolled out quickly. And I think what's interesting is he also said, please remember when we launched 4G, it took 8 years to achieve coverage of 80%. We can't roll out 5G at that same speed. So whether he means you can't do it in the same way, or whether he means if you get telcos involved, they really need to move much faster. I guess we'll find out in March what he means. And then Lim Guan, sorry, not Lim Guan. Let's try that one more time.
Yeah, no problem.
The DAP MP Ong Kiam Ming said that the one who had written that open letter, which was answered by DNB, wrote another open letter. Wrote another open letter, and he sort of passed the comment that DNB had answered his questions very thoroughly and very professionally. And he says, well, what about the telcos? They're not doing it in as thorough a fashion, which sounds like a criticism. I'm sure he means it that way as well.
But also, the DNB response was brilliant, right? And the telco response was brutal in its brevity. So I just wanted to play all the B words.
Yeah, they didn't say that much actually, and none of the telcos I think are stepping forward, but I guess painting a bullseye on them. They're sort of trying to keep at arm's length away. And finally, the last story is that GSMA has come out with I guess a list of responses that say this is why perhaps a dual wholesale network is better than single wholesale network. Effectively, they say things like there's no guarantee that consumers will pay less for 5G with a single wholesale network. They say DNB doesn't know the customer, does not have direct access to end users like the telcos do. There's a reduced innovation, etc., etc., etc. I really, in one sense, I would like to take what GSMA says really, really seriously at face value. but I feel, my gut feel is that they're sort of like defending the telcos. That's how I look at it. The way
Because I think we brought it up before, right? It is the organization for the telcos and the vendors. And of course, Ericsson may be happy, but Huawei is a very unhappy vendor. So, you know, I'm sure they've been pulling or lighting the right fires, right? Under some people's, behind some people, and getting the GSMA to work on this, I don't know. But you know, the fact that DNB lacks a direct access to end users, right? Of course, because they're going to be the wholesale operator, they are not interested in the end user, right? Understanding the end user needs. That is the telco's play. For them to put this point in there shows that they just were desperate to add more bullet points in there. Right? Let's throw in a few more, right? That is an incredible thing to say and insinuate that is a weak point of DNB. And enough said, because otherwise I can feel my blood pressure rising and my beard beginning to bristle, right? And the electricity start crackling, and I'll just unleash a tirade, which I don't want to do.
We'll. I'm sure this topic will rise again and again and again in the coming few weeks.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, man. And I just hope it doesn't come to me and Namwi, right, partnering to produce a rap song. Okay, that will be. It may be. I'm sure it'll be a bestseller, but you know, let's hope it doesn't come to that, because there will be a very angry song. We're gonna see you again at the next episode of Nadi. And, you know, so we're going to see you again at the next episode of Nadi. Take care.